On today's episode, we discuss people dropping into your gym. Should your professor be offended when you bring up the YouTube instructional clip? Matt tells us why nerds need to evolve. It's getting chilly, folks. Grab that level black sweater, throw on a beanie, and let's get sweaty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the pod. My name is Kenny, and I am here with my brother, Matt. How is it going, my man? How was your week?
My week is good, but I'm very sad right now, Kenny. I'm sad. I'm not even, I just turned down a movie.
I heard.
I'm not happy about it.
We don't have to get into the project, but like, what was the character they wanted you to play? Because I think you could nail this character.
An ADCC coach.
Now,
and
I want you to go ahead and hit him with the ADCC coach voice that you've been practicing the last couple of weeks.
Hey, not a lot of people know who this voice is, Kenny.
But the ones who know will know. See, hey, we're not gonna say who. He's going to do the voice. See if you can guess it. Leave it in the comments.
Do it. Come on. Do it now. You do it. Good. Get low. Now it's different. Get lower. I get it. He's a tough guy. I get it. That's Dean Lister, by the way.
It's an excellent Dean. I'm just saying.
Why ignore half the human body? What does he say?
God damn it.
Why would you ignore half the human body? Put
you back to the mat, God damn it.
Back on the mat. We get it. You okay. Play your game. Okay. He's a tough guy. I get it. You're tough. Play your game. Go lower. Left leg. Okay, now it's different. Okay.
And we only say this out of reverence for Dean. Dean is fucking amazing. He's a phenomenal fucking coach. He's a goat, bro. He's an absolute legend,
bro.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Dean fell out of a helicopter or something at BJJ. I don't know, man. He was banged up, but he was still there giving it all. And I'm gonna say right now, the best coach at PGF.
2 seasons in a row.
There's no one. The other guys are coaching, and they're all greats, all-time greats. But Dean Lister, you can hear the man.
Yeah.
And that's why I learned his voice. The reason I don't have a Hodger Gracie impression, soft-spoken.
Didn't say a lot.
Yeah. The soft-spoken goat over there.
Yeah, everybody heard Dean from everywhere in the venue.
But it was... And then he starts dropping like 9 languages. Dean's just driving around his house listening to Rosetta Stone in his car. Like, this speaks Polish? Since when?
Bro.
Where did that come from?
I heard him speak Russian. I heard him speak Spanish. I heard him speak English. I heard him speak Portuguese. All fluently, by the way. All fluently. Yeah, wow.
Hey, you know what a guy that can speak a lot of language has? What did Ludacris say? He's got hoes in different area codes. Read between the lines. But yeah, I turned down this movie role. That was gonna be my Titanic debut. I was gonna get the edge of the boat. They're gonna have me like I was ready.
Edge of the mat.
I was ready to
paint me like one of your French girls, Matt.
Oh my God, the movie anyway. Kit Dale is in the movie. You know, Kit Dale, he's like the OG funny guy in jiu-jitsu and also very good and doesn't believe in drilling and believes you just roll all the time. Kit Dale is doing a movie called White Belt and they're filming in December and they're looking for extras. So if you guys want to be an extra in that movie, DM him. But they wanted me to be an ADCC coach and that would have been great. But your boy is not moving very well, and I hurt myself, and I hurt my arm, and I hurt my leg, and I'm just immobile, and it's in December 22nd is when they're filming. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah. That's pretty close to Santa Claus time. Yeah. And if you know what I do for a living, that's wild. That'd be wild.
Hey, boss, I know it's 2 days before Christmas, and that's kind of our business, but I'm gonna need to take these days off.
Yeah. Turn these brown shorts in. And I don't know. But yeah, crazy. But yeah, disappointed that I turned that down. Still look forward to the movie. Anytime you can get jiu-jitsu or anything like that. So I have some things I want to check on my list. I wanted to be in the movie. That's going to happen because your boy's taking stunt classes soon. Okay. I'm going to be in the movie.
It worries me, Matt. Matt's talking about taking stunt classes, but he struggles to walk and now has one good arm.
We got to put surgery up. Kenny, we're going to have to tie me back together. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, but guess what? The comeback story. All the king's horses, dude. All the king's men put that motherfucker back together again. And he's back in the fight. And that's what they're going to do to me. And they're going to put me back together. I'm going to get back out there. I'm going to get on that wall. And I'm going to sit, dude. And I'm going to I'm taking some stunt classes, learning how to fall so I can be an extra and just get beat up in movies. I think that would be cool. And then I also want to do pro wrestling. And we're working that out. And I'm going to do some pro wrestling and I'm going to show these boys that jiu-jitsu is superior and I'm just a better athlete than these slobs and I'm going to dominate them. And that's what I'm going to do in this pro wrestling. And hit somebody with a chair, take a back body bump, whatever. You know, they mess with those nation. It's over. And I'm just going to be, here's Matt Vega.
Do you have
here's Matt Vega with a finger that doesn't bend all the way. Jiu-jitsu black belt, podcaster, professional wrestler, movies guy, stand-up comedian. Your boy, you might see me at a walk in and do some stand-up comedy sooner or later too. Who knows? I just want to be everywhere. I told you, we're coming everywhere. We're coming everywhere. We're coming everywhere.
Take off those pants. We're coming everywhere. All right, we got some topics this week, Matt. What you got for us?
So, I want to talk about drop-ins. Okay. Dropping in at another gym. There's no problem with that. When you're on vacation, dropping in at another gym, that's fine. Mm-hmm. When you can use the Kenny Kim's app, find a gym, drop on in. You know what I mean?
Right.
But how many drop-ins? If you're a local drop-inner, like you just like, maybe you don't have a school and you're just dropping in and getting free training. That's whack. Just hitting up all the open mats. Or if you train at another school and you're just dropping in all the time at another school, how disrespectful are you to your professor by not doing his class and dropping in at other classes? Mm-hmm. Or what does that say?
I think I'm fortunate in my aspect that I get to like Jason's pretty like supportive of us cross training with the Murrieta guys. And I think it's just because he looks at it like we're just extended family. You know what I mean? We're all part of the same lineage. And I think we're fortunate there. And there's a lot of checkmats in the area. You know what I mean? There's, I think, six within like a 15-minute drive of us between Fallbrook and Menifee. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like, I don't know. I don't know that I would feel as comfortable dropping into let's say Menifee, even though that's Hanato's school and I know Hanato and he's taught it dedicated in the past and stuff. Just I know it's another checkmate school, but I don't know that I would feel comfortable just necessarily dropping in on a whim. And
they're cool, man. Louis' school.
Yeah.
Hanato, they did welcome you right in. But like how many times, like some of these, I've seen some schools where the same guys is dropping in all the time. It's like, hey, bro, you're wearing this team, and it's not even from our team. Like, hey, you're wearing this team, and you keep dropping in. That's your school. Like, what are you doing here? When is it becoming like, hey, yeah, sure, drop in, or are you scouting, or like what? Like, at what point does it become like not cool?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess it's the tough part would be is you'd have to know what that person's intentions are, and without having a conversation with about that specifically and, hoping that they're actually being honest with you, you really don't know their intentions.
And I think that comes to the professor, right? It comes to the professor needs to pull that guy aside and like, hey man, I've seen you come in here just like the fifth time. Like everything good at your school? Like what's the deal? Like,
right.
You just have friends here? Like, it's the professor's job to get a feel out of like what's going on with the guy who just keeps dropping in. Like it's time for you to change teams. Like, right. You know what
I mean? I think I hit the Murrieta open mats, when it's like a Memorial Day or, you know, like a day off or whatever, and there's a big open mat or whatever. And I feel comfortable with that because I know a decent amount of people there. I'm comfortable coming at 6 a.m. because I know you and you're the professor, you know what I mean? And then on the days that you're not professor, it's Jason. And on the days that he's not professor, it's also Joey. So I know all three of the 6 a.m. black belts relatively well. So it's like I feel comfortable with that. And I know Poncho too. Yeah. And I know Poncho pretty well and whatnot. But I would say if I were to drop in a class and it wasn't one of those guys teaching, it might be a little awkward for me. Me personally, I don't have. I've admitted before that I've got like a social anxiety and whatnot. So like for me to step out of my comfort zone completely and go like learn a class from someone completely new would feel a little awkward. You know, I've gone to, you know, other homies' gyms. You know, I went and trained with Tony one day at Team Overtime and stuff. And that's just because, you know, Tony's my homie and, you know, I know I was welcomed there kind of a thing. But to just go to a random gym where I don't really know anybody, then that would feel kind of weird.
Do you think, because we've talked about the weight that sometimes when I go to a different gym, people are like, oh, this is that guy on the internet, I want to beat him up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you think that people are starting to notice who you are a little bit more lately? Do you think that would play like they're coming in like, I want to test them out, even though you're only a blue belt, but they want to like be like, I'm only a blue belt. Like these guys are coming at me all hard because, you know what I mean?
I don't think so yet, but I could see that being a thing. I could absolutely see that being a thing. You know, I'm just now getting to the point where I had recently, you know, they didn't recognize me at the gym, but I was head to toe in level black t-shirt, level black no-gi kit, level black gi, like all in the same day because I rolled gi and no-gi in the same night.
Level black condoms? You got to get on that level, dude. I got the Magnum level black condoms. Cool thing about those, they short? Fit, but they're long. You know, they're a little long. There's a lot of extra.
The Magnum L instead of the Magnum W.
They fit around the base just fine. They're just long. It's like you know what I mean? I'm like a jacket with no hands. You know what I mean? Like, but just sleeves hanging over. You know what I mean? Just kidding. Level Black doesn't sell condoms yet.
The jacket with no hands is a visual I cannot get out of my head right now.
I'm bringing energy today. You know, I'm sad. When I'm sad, I be funny. That's what I do. I be funny. I've been hanging out with the brothers too long too. When I'm sad, I be funny.
Bro, your coworker's fucking warm up story was fucking great.
Hey, and hey Kenny, I started recording late.
Oh really?
He came in and he's all, first thing I do, I walk in, feet on the mat with my shoes. Matt yells at me right away. Boom, stung me. Bam, I'm sad. Then he's all, then I get dressed. It's like, okay, I'm all fake stretching because his Matt says, stretch us in a little bit. And he's all, and then I don't know how to tie my belt. And this motherfucker comes around me, ties my belt like a little baby. And he's like tying my belt, and I feel like a little pussy. He's tying my belt. He's all some real, you can't say the word, but some real, rainbow stuff. Some real rainbow shit here. And then all of a sudden, like, he's all, I'm distraught. And I'm like, I gotta start recording this. And then I finally recorded it. He had me doing some like side strides out inside. He's all, I was cool there. Inside, outside, I'm cool. He's all, then he started doing some front rolls. And then that's when I started recording. Dude, it's the greatest video ever. I was fucking rolling, dude. I was like, he's like, you recorded that? I was like, oh yeah, we're like 8,000 views now, brother.
Bro, when he's talking about fucking the back rolls and he's like, I hit my neck sideways and all of a sudden I'm off to the side and he goes, there's just people just whipping backflips in front of me. He's like, what the fuck?
he's all, you didn't teach me how to do that, doc. I was like, hey, you're black. I thought you were athletic. I just figured you'd figure that out. I didn't. You know what I mean? I figured you'd be better than me at it.
He's all, and then I'm thinking this is over, and then we actually start the class. I didn't realize that was. He goes, I'm tired from the warm up. Then he's talking about dripping sweat, and he's trying to stomp to fucking hide the sweat drips on the ground.
Guys, if you haven't seen that, it's on my. It's on my Instagram. You know what? I'll collab it with the podcast. If you only follow the podcast on Instagram, I'll collab it with the podcast so you can see it. I'll pop up there. But Yeah, man. Mitch at Wolves Elite. Give him a follow. If he gets 100 follows, he's going to come back and do another class, and he's going to fully record it and narrate the whole thing, his whole experience. Now let's talk about showing demos, Kenny. For years, and we all can be guilty of this, every one of us go to the bathroom, we pop a squat, and we look up YouTube, and we look at moves, and we just look at jiu-jitsu. Now, I've pretty much seen everything on the internet. There's no new moves for me. It's all red bars on my YouTube videos of like demos, but that's what we do. I saw a video on Facebook, yep, that old, that I can't remember. I've seen this guy many a time showing jiu-jitsu moves, but I don't know his name. I can't remember his name offhand, but it kind of brought up a subject to me. He posted a video saying, don't do this in jiu-jitsu, one of those videos, you know? And it was a white belt saying, hey, professor, I saw this on the internet. Does this work? And then he tried it on the black belt, and the black belt, it didn't work on him, obviously. And the black belt's like, don't show me stuff from the internet. Just trust what I trust. Don't be that white belt.
Right.
And to that I say, that's crap. That's crap. Even though I'm the professor in class, I like my guys out there trying to learn.
Right.
If you bring something from the internet and you want to show it to me, show it to me. If it doesn't work, maybe I'll know something to tweak it, or maybe maybe it does work. Like, I don't like these guys who are like so hierarchy, like only my stuff works. Don't learn stuff from outside the gym. I think that's dumb. That's little wiener energy.
Well, I think there's two things here. One, I think I agree with you. It's good that you have students that have an inquisitive mind and are hungry to learn more jiu-jitsu even when they're not in class. That's good, you know?
Right.
It means they're constantly thinking about it and ways to better their technique and, this would fit into my game really well, especially in these earlier white belt, blue belt, maybe beginning stages of purple where you're really trying to find what your game is. And as you start to figure that out and you start to find things to piece into it just to kind of grow it, I think that's good. Number two, we both know, well, anybody that trains or, has taught for a long period of time knows that there's so many like really specific nuances to a sweep or a choke or something like that it's really hard to show all of that in a 60-second reel while trying to explain what it's you've got 90 seconds to explain what the move is, show how to do it, and then demonstrate it, and then have something catchy in the beginning that's going to keep the viewer wanting to watch for that 90 seconds. Really not enough time to go over the move thoroughly. You know what I mean? So that's where a student can bring something to you and be like, hey, does this work? And it doesn't, because there's probably 5 or 6 things that weren't explained in that video. And now you have the opportunity. You're like, oh yeah, I know that move. This is what you're doing wrong, and now you can break it down and show them like that you're not doing this. You forgot to do this. You need to grab over here. Your grip was too high. Your grip was too low, things like that. So I think it keeps your students engaged. It keeps them connected with you. And I feel like a good jiu-jitsu school will be not just okay with, but will encourage their students to ask questions and be inquisitive. And not necessarily, I don't think you're challenging the professor. I don't think a professor should be offended if a student asks them a question about some video they saw on the internet. I mean, if anything, you should be flattered that they're coming to you, to try to help them figure it out,
The professor's thinking, oh, he doesn't think my stuff's good enough, so he wants to learn other stuff other places. It's an insecurity thing.
Yeah, it's an ego. Yeah.
It's like, I don't only learn my style.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Well, and that's the thing too, is that everybody's got different body types. So like I've said this before, you're fortunate that you have a body type similar to Poncho. So you've been able to take his style of jiu-jitsu and adapt it for your body type because it works well. But you admit that you love to play lasso. Poncho hates lasso.
He hates lasso.
Yeah. And
hates it.
But he doesn't shit on you for it.
Yeah, he does. He said, that shit don't work. That shit don't work. I was like, all right, well, works for me. But he's a butterfly. He's a guy. And to his credit, I've maybe only lasso swept him one time, and he remembered it, and he brings it up every time. And he's like, "You're not getting me with that shit again." I was like, "All right, well, worked one time. One time out of like 1,000 hours of rolling with the guy, I've got him with a lasso sweep." So yeah, it does not work on Poncho, especially when he knows what you like to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but there's levels to this, But I think it's an ego thing. You gotta let your students explore. You gotta let them go drop in at other gyms.
Mhm.
Like if your shit is legit, you're not going to be worried about them coming back. Like,
two things that I've been to 3 jiu-jitsu schools, like actually trained at 3 jiu-jitsu schools. One of them was Checkmate Marietta for a brief period of time. 2 of them have been newer schools. I trained at 10 Planet Marietta day 1 when they opened. And I trained, I started training at Dedicated about a year after they had been open. Suffice to say, neither school really had any upper belts. I mean, it was maybe 6 months after I got to Dedicated that they promoted people to blue. So Jason's first blue belts. So there really has never been like an advanced class, I think we're just now, Dedicated's just now growing, in age of the academy to the point where now there's going to be people that are starting to hit that purple belt level. So he's going to start to have some of those advanced students. And so I feel like for the last 2+ years that I've been at Dedicated, like Jason's really had to almost teach really basic classes, though he does get beyond fundamentals, but I really still feel like he understands the majority of my classes are white belts and blue belts. So he's teaching that level jiu-jitsu. And I feel like we're just now starting to get into because he is a half guard guy, as we all know. And I feel like he's starting to touch into some more advanced half guard stuff lately, which is cool to see. Cause it's the first 2 years, it was we basically went through a year of training. And then the second year is you just kind of revert back to the beginning and then kind of taught that year again. But now he's got all this stuff that we haven't learned yet. That's for the more advanced belts and stuff.
There's been many a time that I've come into the gym and had a full plan of teaching something and then see the lineup that walks in the door. And well, I mean, I don't think I can teach that because, these guys they don't even know how to do their armbar yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? We need to work on the fundamentals. We need to tighten the ship up before we can actually advance to that next move. So sometimes you have to go back and keep teaching the fundamentals and then let them grow their branch first. And then they come and ask you a question like, hey, I've been hitting that armbar, but now I saw this in the video. What about this? And then you help them with that.
Correct.
Because especially if you have such a newer school with a bunch of lower belts.
Right. Well,
I can definitely see that.
One of the things that Jason's been doing the last couple of months, I've talked about this on here before, is on Friday nights, he has kind of this real loose formatted class where it's not an open mat, but it's you can come in gi, you can come in no gi. He doesn't care either way. And then he allows you guys to ask questions. So he's who's got questions? And it's okay, when I do this move, I'm getting stuck here. What am I doing wrong? He'll have you demonstrate it with a partner.
You can train gi. You can train gi. You can train no gi. You cannot come, Kenny. You cannot come in gi. You cannot come in no gi. You could, I guess. How much do you love jiu-jitsu? But you can train gi. You can train no gi Friday nights, Dedicated jiu-jitsu.
You can show up in. But yeah, he kind of it's a less structured, but still a learning environment, if that makes sense. So he allows you to ask your question. He sees where you're fucking up, and then he helps you tweak it, and then you drill that for 5 to 10 minutes. And it's okay, who's got a next question? So it's not even he's not teaching oh, we're going to do all back take stuff, or we're going to do all side control stuff, or we're going to do all half guard stuff. It's where are your little deficiencies at? Where's your little what question do you have to help? And it's kind of helping you refine your game. And I think that's been hugely beneficial to some of the more advanced students that do show up, because it's some of us want to go a little bit further beyond the fundamentals at this point. And this is a good opportunity to do that because he can kind of help you just refine your game. It's almost it feels like a private vibe, but you're in a slightly larger group setting.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be walking around when guys are sparring, and I like to coach while I was sparring. No. I'll pick the guy who's losing, or I'll pick one of the guys who's close to finishing. Now get your left hip down, shoulder. I'll help them finish the move. What is embarrassing is sometimes I'll be talking and I'll be telling them to do something, and they do it and they miss, and then now they're losing, and I'm oh man, my bad. And I just walk away real fast. My bad, bro. You had him. My bad.
Well, I think that's good though when you're doing that, because it gets people used to coaching. If you've never competed and you don't have a coach that does that, when you go into a competition and they're coaching you for the first time, like from a competitive standpoint, it's like, what? How do I listen to you and do what you're saying and get used to listening to your instruction if I've never done that before?
And it also helps the professor with his coaching, especially a newer professor.
Yeah.
If you've never coached before, you have to find your way to talk the move through your mouth. I think we've talked this before, but like you got to be able to verbalize. Now move your right elbow, move your left arm, pass, knee slice, hips back. Like you have to be able to enunciate the move, even though you're thinking in the head. You have to be able to put it to words, and sometimes that's hard. Something like I posted that video a couple months back about my kid starting jiu-jitsu, and I said you don't get a blue belt till you're 15. It is 16. But guess what? In the video, I don't know if you guys have ever done this that are listening to this, but when you're talking, it's hard. It's not as easy as it seems to get the words out. Right. And I said 15 instead of 16. And people are like, I thought it was 16. I thought it was 16. Like they'll hype on every little thing. So like learning your voice, learning the way to enunciate the words, learning to put your brain in your mouth in sync with each other. Mm-hmm. It is a skill that you have to develop, especially as a coach trying to figure out moves.
Oh, I mean, that's with anything. Even there's times where I'm describing a story that I was a part of and I can't remember somebody's name that I've known for a decade. Who I've said their name 100 times, you know what I mean? And you blank, so shit happens when you're, absolutely. When you're coaching, like if you're not doing the reps, then you might mess up.
Sometimes life's a jacket, and sometimes life's a jacket with no hands. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got a little bit left to give. They're to fall back on that. Like it's just real thick at the base. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of Jimmy on the bottom. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
A lot of Jimmy, not a lot of hat.
There's a lot of Jimmy on the bottom. I pulled that shit. I look like a toddler. I look like a toddler in a grown-up t-shirt, dude. Like
they're like, you didn't have to roll that down very far.
Oh no, I did not. Thick at the base, dude. That's Oast Nation for you, dude. Thick at the base, but thick nonetheless. We're a fucking fire hydrant over here.
This is why you folks come here. This is why.
Come here to make an idiot of himself. I also want so now I want to talk about nerds. First of all, jiu-jitsu, we have a bunch of them. And I want to applaud you guys. I want to shout out to all the nerds out there, all the guys who don't bench 225, all the guys who make a lot of money just stacking commas, are really good at spreadsheets, all that cool stuff. Like you guys are doing it. Okay. And you guys are landing dime pieces. And for that, I applaud you. Like shout out for the nerdy guy coming around, making money, pulling hot birds. Okay. Congrats. But that comes with a cost, boys. Okay. Because someday when you marry a hot chick, you know what attracts hot chicks? Creeps. Okay. Creeps trap out you. Your wife, one day you're going to have to fight for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have to fight for her. Their story. I know a lady who had a stalker at a school, and he was following her around.
Like a jiu-jitsu school or like a school?
School.
Gotcha.
And the husband doesn't bench 225, doesn't train jiu-jitsu. He didn't do anything about it, really. So all the other guys around him did it for him. That's whack. She did not. She dried up. I'm guaranteed she did not like that. She likes the range. She likes the Range Rover she's driving.
Right.
But that was not an alpha move. Everybody needs to train. Everybody needs to train jiu-jitsu. Because someday you're winning in life. You're killing it. But someday you're going to have to protect your girl. And you got to be ready. I was when I heard that, I was like, man, I was like, my other buddy's like, I'm going to go talk to the guy. And I'm like, does the husband know? Because me personally, I would be mad. If something happened to my wife like that,
Right.
and then one of my buddies talked to the guy instead of me, like, hey man, that was my fight. Let me talk to the guy. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
But
you've had an altercation with a homeless person for harassing your wife.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and
Yeah.
that's a scary situation because, I mean, when you mentioned that story, I told the story about my dad's cousin's wife got murdered by a homeless guy in a fucking gas station parking lot. Like, you don't know what you're dealing with, you know? Is that person of sound mind or not? So it's just like, you know, that goes for you as well. Like, you know, if you're a nerd, you have no fighting experience whatsoever and no like situational awareness, and you have no idea what but you're going to try to like put your big boy pants on and go stand up to this person. You don't know what you're getting yourself into, and you might get fucked up. And that's not a good, that's an even worse look.
That's why you should train.
Yeah.
Whether it's firearms, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, kickboxing,
something,
fucking Zumba, whatever, dude. You got to get out there. You got to move them hips, my man. You got to be elusive. Because
like everybody always says too, I think it's the Rogan quote, you know, martial arts are our vehicle for human potential. It's like, if you're a nerdy guy and you like to challenge yourself with brain teasers, that's all jiu-jitsu is. It's just physical chess. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much a thinking man's game. And you can be an athlete all you want, but if you don't have the brain to figure out jiu-jitsu and figure out the game, you'll never be great at it. You know what I mean? Like, you might be okay.
The first week is intimidating. The first week of your jiu-jitsu journey is intimidating. Mm-hmm. You're going to not know how to tie your belt. You're not going to know where to go. You're going to be standing at the front desk waiting for the black belt on the mat to see you because, you know what I mean? Because you don't even know where to go with the dress. You're not, you know what I mean? You're going to have Rolone or gi on probably. You know, you're not going to know how to do the front rolls, the back rolls, you know, any of that. The first week is going to be real tough. After the first week, you're golden.
Yeah.
You'll know what to do. You'll get in there, just take your licks and get your ass whooped until you don't anymore.
We have a kid that just started jiu-jitsu this week, actually, at Dedicated, and he's a Marine. He just PCS'd here from another base outside of California. And yesterday was like day 3 for him. And I was just kind of having a conversation in between rounds on the wall. And he's got no prior jiu-jitsu experience. He wrestled a real small amount. You know, he's a Marine. He doesn't have any combatives experience or anything like that. He's in great physical shape. You know, he's got an athletic build and he's fast, and his wrestling does, you know, help him with scrambling and whatnot. But he's learned very quickly, because he's only done gi this week. He's learned very quickly that scrambles get shut down real fast in a gi.
Yeah.
And, but he's sticking with it. He's just like, man, he goes, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, dude, we've all been there. We've all been there. You know, I remember having like a year of jiu-jitsu under my belt, damn near, and then of no gi, and then putting a gi on, and then feeling like I didn't know shit because of just how much different it was when someone can slow you down with you know, the gi on. So I'm like, hey man, the first probably 6 months is going to feel like you're just trying to survive and not die. And after 6 months, and when you're, you know, narrowly escaping chokes and like kind of getting out of arm bars here and there, and it's probably not going to be pretty, but something will click like, oh shit, I'm starting to get this. You know what I mean? That's the awesome part of jiu-jitsu, is that first kind of like aha moment, you know? So yeah. I hope he sticks with it. Yeah. He
seems... old analogy, jiu-jitsu is like tying your shoes. When you're 5 years old and your mom's like, hey, tie your shoes, you don't even know what the hell she said.
Right.
What do you mean? Then she's like, okay. A couple of times in, you're like, okay, I make a loop. I go under the bridge. I make a bunny ear, go around the loop, pull through. Oh, I missed.
Right.
I missed again. I can't figure it out. I'm trying it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I just can't get it done. Eventually, you start, oh, I got it. I hit one.
Yeah.
I hit an arm bar. What was that? And eventually, the more and more you do it, the easier it gets, and more easier to tie your shoes. So just like tying your shoes. So, but yeah, just this consistency, but like, don't be afraid. You guys, like, I get like this generation about computers, and, you know, you can make all your money on the internet, but sometimes you gotta freaking put your feet on the ground and throw hands. You gotta be ready. If you're married, You got to be ready. You can buy a big dog. That ain't going to do shit at the grocery store. When like some guy stole your wife's parking spot and your wife honks the horn because hot chicks honk. What is going on here? Hot chicks honk the horn. Hot chicks, I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, now your chick just pissed this guy off. Now what? If you got a hot chick, she'll freaking get mad. And then what? Now you gotta fight for her. Are you ready?
I'm not gonna say who this is because I don't want, but I have a story to tell about this specifically. Somebody I know is married, and they were sitting, watching TV or something like that. And the wife said, if we were out at a bar, and this person has some training under their belt, we were out at a bar, and a guy started trying to hit on me, what would you do? And he goes, I don't know, get you and leave? And she's like, what do you mean you would just leave? And he's just like, I mean, if I don't have to fight somebody, like I'd prefer not to. You know, if he's not being blatantly disrespectful, you know what I mean? But he's just hitting on you, like we can just leave. And she's like, you wouldn't stick up for me? And he's just like, I don't know who they are, or what they have, or if they've got friends. I just know it's you and me, and you can't fight. So that doesn't do me any good. Like, let's just leave, you know? And they got into like a legit, basically one-way argument where she was.
Well, he's right. He's 100% right on that. Leave.
Yeah, leave.
Why we go?
Right. But
every fight I've ever been in, even if I thrown hands and I win, the next day I'm sore as fuck.
Right.
Like, you'll leave.
But what you're saying is that, you see, essentially she was starting shit just to, like, almost to test him. You know what I mean? Like, what would you do if this happened? He's just like, what? Like, where's this coming from? You know? Or speaking, you're mad at me over hypotheticals
or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just, you know, the people will get mad at you over hypothetical shit that didn't even happen. And it's just like, you know, so train because it could actually happen.
I just caught myself do that right now, Kenny. Fuck, you're right. I do that a lot. I just caught myself doing that. I'm sorry. Kenny's like, yeah, we do this too much in the videos. And I'm like, damn it, you're right.
Like, yeah, when someone asks you a question, you go, yeah, we both do it a lot. I just edit it out as much as I can.
Gosh. Now, I don't know why girls like that. Especially younger women, they want to see if their man can throw hands. That's just primal. It's like, it's all primal stuff.
Yeah, I think that's just built into our DNA.
Biggest fucking guy, alpha male wins, king of the pack type, you know what I mean? Gets the lioness, you know what I mean? Like, it's just all that. It's all it is. So, that being said, be ready, boys. I'm proud of you nerds, but you guys got to train. We got questions?
We do have some questions. I actually screenshotted one that somebody sent me today. Let's start with this one. Here we go. Promotions are coming up in the. Oh, this is from Davis_MD. Promotions are coming up in the gym. Is it wrong to ask your professor to not give you stripes?
Yes. Don't just take what you get, bro. Stripes, again, they don't mean nothing in the long run. If your professor gives you stripes, just take your stripes and have them. No one's promised tomorrow. Tomorrow could be over, and you'd wish you had those stripes. Just get your stripes and be proud, because if you've earned them, you've earned them.
Right. And he wouldn't.
I know you don't want to get the blue belt fast, or you don't want to get to the purple belt fast, or whatever belt you're trying to get to. You're scared of it because you're like, oh, but you should be willing to take on that.
Well, I think there's some weight, there. Maybe, yeah. If I guess it, Matt, I completely agree with, but I would be asking yourself why. Like, why is it that you don't want the stripes? And then maybe figure out the proper solution to that. It's not don't get the stripes. It's, do you feel like it's imposter syndrome? Does that mean that you don't trust your professor's judgment? Do you feel like you're a 2-stripe blue belt and you're afraid to get a 3rd stripe because there's 0-stripe blue belts that wreck you? It's I don't know. Yeah, you got to kind of figure that out. And if that's the case, okay, what do you got to do to not get wrecked? what do you got to do to make it yourself feel like you are that guy, that 3-stripe blue belt, or whatever it is you are. So
I agree 100%. Take your stripes and just grow, bro. Grow. Like, take your L's. If the other belt is hard for you, good. It's supposed to be. Jiu-jitsu is not easy. It's supposed to be tough. This is why we signed up for it. Advance your belt. You deserved it. It's an honor to get stripes, even though they only we've said like they don't really mean that much. They mean something to everybody else that you train with. Mm-hmm. So they don't. Once you get to black belt, you realize, wow, they really didn't really mean that much. But right now, and your middle belts, they mean something. Yeah. Like, especially to your peers, like, oh, he's a 3-stripe. They see that. And you're like, oh, he's a 2-stripe. In the tournament, you can go blank blue belt. Bicon blue belt, no stripes. No one will know. Right. But like, you know what I mean? Like, black belts do that all the time. They'll have just a blank white bar or just a blank belt because they don't want to show how many degrees they got. But in the gym, you earn those stripes, bro. So just embrace them.
I agree. I feel like some people, I don't know, maybe it just depends on the environment that you come from. I feel like my team at Dedicated is pretty like friendly and like welcoming. I feel like 6 a.m. is like that too. I feel like there's a really good brotherhood at 6 a.m. And I feel like there isn't really a jealousy thing. You know what I mean? If you get a stripe and you're, 2 stripes ahead of, a guy that you train with, like he's probably not jealous of you. He's probably stoked that like, hell yeah, my boy's coming up, So maybe it's just I'm fortunate in the environment that I learn in, where I feel like I've got a good team around me and people that are excited for me and my growth, and vice versa. I'm excited for them and their growth. And I feel like you have that as well at the 6 a.m. I've trained a lot of Murrieta outside of the 6 a.m. in the last couple of years, but as far as what the 6 a.m. is doing, you guys are doing it well.
Definitely. It's a good brotherhood we got going down there. Guys would freaking go to war for each other. We have built a good, neat group of guys.
We got one last question here. It's how did you guys end up taking care of your used gis during your trip? We kind of didn't, guys. We put them in a bag, and we had rash guard kits that were in bags, and they kind of smelled a little bit in the room, and we washed them when we got home.
Yeah, it was kind of stinky. I'm not gonna lie.
But we powered through it. It
was a little stinky.
Yeah, the room was a mess. There was nothing organized about it. It was literally fucking just piles of clothes and camera equipment for 5 days straight.
We're full baby mode right now, guys.
Yeah.
I missed her mom and it with a bad shoulder and a bad leg. Sorry, baby woke up. This is the sacrifices we push for you guys. Shoulder popped out. It was crazy. There's a whole thing just happened right now.
That's the balance, brother.
Yeah, gi wise, we just put our gear. I had a dirty bag. I had 2 notorious combat bags. So one combat bag, I put all my dirty gear in, and I kept all my stuff in the clean gear and the clean bag. And then just, yikes. Just got it home. Yeah. It wasn't crazy rounds though.
No.
So like I wasn't really funking them up too bad. But yeah, that's what we did. You think what I'm thinking, brother?
Aim for the bushes, brother.
Aim for the bushes. My name is Matt at O's Nation. Follow us on, this is Kenny at Freak Party BJJ. Follow us on the Discord. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. I'll post something Kenny won't. O's Nation's on Facebook too, by the way. If you want to check that out, check that out.
That's an older demographic.
If you're an old dude,
if your grandparents are into jiu-jitsu,
and
have them
if you're
follow
an old
O's Nation.
dude and you want to play some Farmville, get in there, find me. I'm O's Nation on Facebook too. But yeah, life is good. We will. This is a fun episode. Felt good to get some laughs out there. Anything coming up for you, Kenny? Nothing?
No.
I'm going to get in a cold tub soon. That's happening. I need one. I'm beat up. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys next week.